I read your Ninjago hot takes. Oh, Ninjago. I haven't seen you in a long time. Let's go with it.
Sometimes the internet takes them well, other times they act like you just shot someone. But I'll admit, sometimes with takes like these, sometimes that's the case. But as much as some hot takes can be absolutely irritating and most of the time just by internet LARPers, especially ones that actually post a hot take on purpose just to get people seeking engagement, but some generally good ones actually make me ponder and consider a different perspective on a certain criticism, whether I agree with it or not. I think those hot takes, when it comes from the heart and actually have genuine thought put into it, I think can genuinely lead to good, honest discourse that can only benefit both the community and the source material, as it can lead to people being more open-minded.
Yeah, and plus, it's also constructive criticism. You also you dislike something that you see in the show, but you're not being an asshole about just doing this on the show on purpose. Like, oh, this person is saying, oh, this sucks, without really giving any thought to it. It's like, hey, I don't like this thing. Here's my thoughts as to why I do not like this thing, and let's engage. And that's something I always like when it comes to these type of shows. And yeah, I don't remember this one this season. Probably it is Masters. It's probably just like the Edge. It's just either with the whole space
So
pirates.
today, because I had a lot of work on my plate and had to make a video this month, I thought it'd be kind of fun to
Fit.
ask some people through my social media and community tab for their hot takes and see how insightful my audience truly is.
So where are we gonna go with this one? Also, this was from season three, I think. Not season four. This is from season four. The term elements. But kind of put your
So let's
hand
start
first.
with the first hot take. Dragons Rising at its worst is miles better than a good chunk of the franchise. I'd say that's about a mild take there, barely reaching spicy, but I
Hmm.
would say I agree. Even season 3
I've never watched Dragons Rising, so I am going to keep myself away from that comment for now.
as much as I do feel like it was a misfire, I would gladly watch it over Skybound or Crystallized any day of the week. But I do feel
Skybound,
like
thank you.
Dragons Rising has unique problems that the other previous seasons didn't have. At least Dragons Rising actually has an interesting story going on that lasts for multiple seasons, which is something I wanted from the series since Sons of Garmadon. So either way, I ride that high. I prefer Aaron as my favorite ninja over the other ninjas. I agree. Well, I don't know if I'll necessarily say
Like I said before, I've never watched Dragons Rising, so I'm going to leave this one to him.
he's my favorite, as you know, I'm biased, but I can't deny just how very likable Aaron is, and I and many others think can relate. Because we all like a Lego show. We're autistic, let's just call it how it is. But really, he's just a chill guy, and he makes pies, so he's good in my heart. Plus, just as a side note, I really like his orange and black combo. That suit looked
Looks cool.
nice. I think the Mega Weapon half of Season 2 is significantly better than the Dark Island half. Both halves obviously have issues, but the second half just has way more to me. Forgot to finish your sentence there, but no matter what you put, that wouldn't change the fact I vehemently disagree with this take. I've already made a
Huh?
whole video about the first half of Season 2 and why
Oh, it's season two of Ninjago Master Spin Teachers. This is season two. So I'm confused. I was confused by the Mega Weapon. I'm like, wait, is that
I
season two?
already think they are some of, if not the worst episodes of Ninjago, but I honestly get
Damn.
why some people would like it. Some people like lesser stake adventures. I get that, but it doesn't change the fact that nothing of note happens. And in the other half of season 2, actually things of note happen and are just far more interesting with the world building of the Dark Island and the Stone Warriors. I'm sorry, but no, I can't ever agree with this take, especially because you said the word significantly. Like there's this major difference, and oh yeah, there is. Just
It's like, oh, no.
not in favor of this take. I think We Rise is better than season 1 and two's version of the Weekend Whip. Maybe I've just heard it too many times. Okay, can I be completely
Hmm. I've heard the theme song for Dragons Rising Rise. It's quite really good theme. I'll give him credit. But I think I can somewhat understand, but I disagree. I disagree, but I understand that, hey, The Weekend Whip was probably like one of the most iconic. It's probably the most iconic theme song coming out of this franchise. But I also understand why some people can be sick of it because once you hear that theme song on a loop for certain stuff, like sheesh. But once you see like season three onwards, it obviously they changed it for difference to make the vibe different for the theme. But except for the times where it was out of it completely, where I remember seeing the theme of Sons of Garmadon, which I've not watched, that it was completely gone outright. But yeah, that's different. But yeah, I understand.
Completely real with y'all for a second? Like, just heart to heart here? I'm sick of the Weekend Whip. Yes, I very much appreciate it from my
Hey,
nostalgia, but after that thing was remixed over like a dozen times, some of those remixes being very good, mind you, the Weekend Whip has just gotten old. I couldn't help but be dumbfounded when people were very upset that they wanted to switch things up with both the Oni trilogy and Dragon's Rising. First of all, I view the Oni trilogy switch up as absolutely vital to its success, and was a bold creative decision to not start Ninjago's biggest tonal shift with Jump Up, Kick Back, Whip.
see, I understand. Look. I do like We Rise. I just can't beat over the Weekend Whip, but I understand why some people can't be sick of it because the remixes might be kind of get a bit more better than the season one, season two version. So I understand people can be sick of one song being remixed a lot and it gets old. I don't mind. That's actually a good change. They did change for Dragon's Rise. It's a different type of tone.
Around and spin. Not having the Weekend Whip for the Oni trilogy really set the tone of the seasons very well, and it's something I can't help but appreciate. And then just flat out finally removing it for Dragon's Rising, I think was a good decision.
They brought it back. The funny part, they kind of like mixed it with Re Rise for Dragon's Rising. So they brought the Weekend Whip back. So it's kind of
As
funny.
like I said, that thing was hooked up to 5 ventilators. It was just time to let it go.
There's also the
Yes.
thing of not having Weekend Whip means that it would just generally be seen as a different thing. Like, hey, you don't have to like this thing, but for those who are willing to drop the Weekend Whip for a second, they
Yeah.
can enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Not
Okay.
to say
Yeah.
We Rise is perfect. It can be repetitive, but
Yes. Especially since you can only hit like the first 15 seconds. Because I'm saying this intro short. Like I've seen a lot of intros. I haven't seen the show itself, but I've seen the intro. It plays a lot, especially in this specific version when they were running
I will
across the room.
gladly take it over getting the 20th remix.
Bang.
Okay, so this one's a bit long, so I had to trim this one a little bit. My
Yeah.
hot take is that the Oni trilogy, specifically season 8, is very much overrated. This isn't just because of the redesigns, which I'm perfectly fine with, but more
Fair.
so because of all the other changes that happened to the show, as well as bringing back Garmadon, which his arc already was completed. I'm not a huge fan of how elemental powers were treated. Jay can no longer control his own lightning, but instead has to receive it from something electrical and then conduct the lightning. The same
Okay. Since I haven't watched Ninjago past the season The Hands of Time, I don't know anything of what he's saying here. But if that's the case, that has to suck for Jay. The fact he can't control his own lightning, that's actually sad. But the redesigns, when I saw them for the first time in like a picture, I'm thinking to myself, okay, this makes sense. I actually don't mind the fact it's a redesign. It just looks funny when you see it up close. Nia's one was completely needed, but yeah, some people don't like those. But that's the thing. Some people just don't like change, even if some changes need to be necessary. Like yeah, like the theme song being removed outright. It's a tone shift change that it was needed, even if it's gonna cause roughness on Friday.
thing all applies with Nia. Harumi is also a massive weak spot of the trilogy. Her origin story is great, no doubt about that, but I feel like the direction they went with the character was ultimately a mistake. Her plan to bring back Garmadon should have failed, as my biggest issue with the season is that it brings back Garmadon and treats him like he was the biggest of the baddies when that simply wasn't the case. Garmadon's story was already over 4 seasons ago, and this new Garmadon was only brought back because of the Ninjago movie. Okay, so some thoughts.
Yeah, that was in depth, and I'll give you credit for trying to give a conversation here. So let's see what he said.
First of all, I didn't really get the whole thing with them changing elemental powers, and now that I think about it, I don't even think that's necessarily true because Zane used his powers plenty of times and there was no ice around, including in the middle of the desert. And
That's actually
even
funny.
those times like Jay using the lightning on the power lines, I don't know if power lines carry that much electricity. I think it was just a case of either the writers or animators just using it that way as it was easier to use, or if you want a character reason, using elemental powers in natural circumstances is probably just easier for the ninja.
Okay, let me just see to read this. Nia could not make this amount of pressure, or if she could, the pipes are probably easier slash give her the idea under the heat of battle.
Under pressure, and even then their powers are just likely stronger under natural circumstances, so like, yeah, no. Then with the whole Garmadon thing,
Yeah, the Garmadon thing. I want to see how he
I used to
does.
think this way, and really I just wrote it off as Sons of Garmadon was kind of a rebirth of Garmadon's character and
Yeah, it does seem like a
was
reset.
way better here than in the classic seasons. So I
Mainly because I believe this guy's purely just evil. He's not Lloyd's dad.
didn't mind them kind of shoehorning Lord Garmadon back into the series. But really, it works enough lore-wise as the final battle was more so meant for the Overlord, not for Garmadon, which is why Sons of Garmadon works, but Crystallize doesn't. I'm not going to pretend that was planned out because, yeah, at the end of the day, he was brought back because of the movie, but still, I think it works well enough. And once again,
Yeah.
it's a moot point because Garmadon is such a better character that I don't care. Crystallize was good, actually.
The fact that we went from that to Crystal, and I've never watched that show. You all watch that season. It's just funny that now it's like I know this guy does not like Crystallize, and then you see Crystallize. Also, you see the username of everyone here, if you notice right there. So that's kind of funny that now I'm thinking, wow, oh, halfway through the video. It's quite nice from my end. That's quite cool.
It's okay. This one comes from Mex.
He did not even took time to even say that. Let me read this one out. Anyone who thought Lloyd wasn't going to be the Green Ninja is dumb and stupid. I hate them. But oh, he was just a random kid in the black hoodie. Motherfucker! He had the green number 5 on his thing. There were 4 ninjas. He was a random 5th main cast member, and the number was green. All because the ninja were too over their own heads to be the Green Ninja. Cole was the Black Ninja because of the color of his skin. What's the skin color? Is yellow. And it's not even me just pointing out a different type of race. This literally is Lego. He's yellow. What is this about? Like genuinely.
Oh, I know who this is. This is a LARPer. Anyone who thought
Oh.
Lloyd wasn't gonna be the Green Ninja is dumb
Yeah, never mind.
and stupid, and I hate them. But oh, he was just a random kid in a black hoodie. Hecker, he had a green number 5
I should bleep out my words sometimes. Just avoid saying it at all, really.
on his hoodie. There were 4 ninjas. He was the random 5th main cast member, and the number was green. All of the ninjas were
It's not even a hot take. It's just making a statement.
too over their own heads to be the Green Ninja. Cole was the Black Ninja because the color of it. He never quotes that Insta reel right. It cuts off at the end for a reason. It makes it way funnier. Anyway, while he may be a LARPer, he's right.
Oh, I never noticed that actually. I watched the show a long time ago. I did never notice the fact that number 5 was a green. That's
still
what
shocked
fucked
my
me
brother
up.
Clay pointed that out, and I never did notice somehow, and it blew my mind when I
Yeah, I
realized it.
never noticed.
Anyway, don't submit something
That
because you just want to
surprised
show
me,
up in a video. I'm done with you, X-Pool.
That actually surprised me. I never knew he actually did that. I'm surprised.
Oh, well, good riddance, you LARPer!
Wu should have stayed a teenager and joined the ninja. No.
No, that's not the point of his character. His point of his character is meant to teach the ninja. He can't just be back as a teenager and just be a ninja. That doesn't. I disagree. He's a master. He's not really meant to do this.
The ninja raising and taking care of Master Wu and teaching him everything they taught him and bringing him back to his sensei self was very beautiful and was the point of that story.
Oh. I thought he meant something different. I didn't know it was relating to a season that I never watched. I'm a dumbass. I'm a genuine dumbass. I've never thought that.
Dragons Rising Season 3 Part 2 is way more entertaining, consistent, and cohesive than
Never watched Dragons Rising, so I'll leave you.
every other season of DR so far, minus Season 2. Even with its flaws,
Okay.
which I also believe can be overly exaggerated and far from enough for the season to be labeled as bad overall. That's such a take. I don't even know what to say. I believe that Season 3 Part 2 isn't that bad, and I generally think it's better than Part 1, but the best part of Dragons Rising? No. Legend sets suck. Excuse
Legend sets? What's it?
me? Those are honestly like the only sets I'm interested in. Not to say any of the other sets are bad, but it's honestly just such a smart
it's
line of
just
Ninjago
resets.
sets. Big sets targeted at adult Ninjago fans who want something more as a display piece rather
It one's on display. Yeah, obviously it's not a toy to play with, but it's actually something you can just put on your stand. That's actually cool,
than a toy. I'm so
because obviously some adults really do love the show, and honestly, it's quite nice to be saying, "Hi, we've seen you, longtime fans. Here's your toys
looking forward to the
for display
new Legend sets we're getting
to put on your desk."
this year. Sure, some don't look fantastic, but like the
Yeah.
Twin Mechs, Ultra Dragon Battle, oh my goodness, that's $200. Dang, I'm gonna be spending a lot on Legends. Anyway, long and short of it, Ninjago Legends is awesome. Part 1 of Crystallize, episodes 1 through 12 is great. If the writing kept this quality for the whole season,
Some people are trolling him with
this would have
Crystallize.
been a great finale. I don't necessarily agree with great. However, I've always said this. I do think the first half of Crystallize is generally good. It does the whole ninja being in prison thing way better than Skybound, that's for sure, and a lot of other things. I don't like how they brought Nia back and when they brought her back, but still, I can forgive it. It's just as soon as Harumi takes the mask off, man, the whole season goes downhill. I think 11-minute era is underrated. Yes and no. I still think it's probably the worst material out of the series simply because nothing gets time to breathe. But I do think that
11-minute era? Oh, is it? Was there an era where the show was 11 minutes long? That would be actually fun. In terms of binging watching shows, that actually would be the best blessing because it's easier to do. But I'm surprised that it was.
when the 11-minute format works, it
Okay,
works,
so it
and
was
works
then.
really well at that. I still think episodes like Snake Catastrophe and the Kaiju Protocol are good episodes and are good because of the format. However, even episodes that almost work with the format, like Ninjago Confidential, have problems mainly with their endings. I go into it further with the mini reboots of Ninjago video I made last year.
Oh, okay, just watch that then. Okay.
Oh my god, that was a year ago? Dragons Rising Season 1 was disappointing, as when I rewatched it, Sora's full potential is not that good, as before we had not seen her wanting to prove herself to her parents. We see her wanting to prove herself to Dr. Leroux, but not her parents.
He did not get the point.
Okay.
What? I've never watched Dragon Rising, but it just sounds so odd.
Hey, yeah, this may seem kind of lukewarm and weird, but I'm a fandom person, and I do want to say this out loud. Green Flame cannot, will not, and should not be justified.
Okay,
They
yeah.
are brothers. In fact, I vividly remember seeing somewhere that Lloyd sees Kai as his brother figure and or father figure, depending on the context. Had to cut that one short, but yeah, it's definitely a brother figure for sure.
Wait, what's happened in the fan base?
All
What
this to say
happened?
is that I don't really ship the ninja with any of them. Maybe it's because all of them have their own ship
fan-based
going
stuff.
on. Well, except
Fair.
Lloyd. And even then we have Loikita. That just work infinitely better for them. Looking past Jaya drama from the past, of course. But I don't
Don't remind me of
really
that.
see any of the ships with any of the ninja because I view them as, well, you know,
Family.
brothers. Brother sharpens brother and all. Plus, I just don't really see some of these ships. The only one I'll give a slight vouch for is Bruce, and that is literally just like a slight vouch. But sure, Bruce fandom, take that as an accolade. Ninja Cole almost approves it. Alright, last one for today. We need more filler content. Lower stake stuff, just lighthearted adventures every so often. Crossroads Carnival is the perfect example in my opinion.
Okay. Every so often. Okay, I don't mind filler. It purely depends on how much filler you want in there can that can balance with the serious stuff.
Yes, I have been saying this forever. And also, I very much appreciate the Crossroads Carnival glaze, because I agree that is a great episode. But I honestly think the community is kind of scared of low stakes filler adventures because of season 2. But as I even said in the video talking about those episodes, I don't think low stakes adventures are bad. I just don't want a long string of them, and especially
Yeah,
have them not
literally, it's how much filler content do you want with the serious stuff? That's all it is. It's just you have to find a balance.
do anything. Crossroads Carnival, I think, is the perfect example of a good episode, establishing so much about the new merged lands and seeing how the citizens of each realm are connecting, letting us get to know Aaron and Sora more, and has a good lesson in character growth for Lloyd as he realizes he can't be like Master Wu, and can make teaching Aaron and Sora fun. So yeah, I do agree. I think that we do need more lower stake episodes. Just dish them out better, and
Yes.
please let something happen in them. That's all the hot takes I wanted to go through for this video.
Never watched Dragon's Rising, but I'm just saying yes, just because you need those type of episodes that are well executed properly and actually do well in terms of getting stuff out there instead of just holding stuff back,
Sorry if
which
yours
is
didn't make the
great.
cut. I got like 300 submissions at the time of
Don't. Yeah, I would even. I would try. I don't know if you'd split this up, but maybe when you do another one, maybe. Yeah, can't believe.
writing this, and I stopped at the nice number of 69. So if y'all really vibe with this video, I
Really.
would love to continue going through and judging your hot takes. If you would like to submit a hot take for future use, make sure to fill out the form in the description below, and maybe I'll get to it if I do this again. But anyway, I shall leave the floor open. What are your Ninjago hot takes? And what do you think of some of these hot takes in this video, or some of the others in the comments? Let me know all that down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you very much, Ninja Cole. Well, let's hope you too, and watch the streams. Goodbye.